Indie wrestling fans, we're about to head to the edge of the world to talk about our friends in IPW. But before that, let us give a quick introduction because boom, just like that, it's Thursday night, and that means it's time to party with us. We're the Video Bros. My name is Bobby Munson, and the man sitting beside me, he's the man with the angelic voice. He's Papa Smokes. Papa Smokes, happy Thursday. How you doing, brother?
Ooh, happy Thursday to you too, Munson. I'm doing great. Always happy to be here on Ole Podcast and the Video Bros Network for another episode of Ring Respect Radio. Hey, you know when it's Thursday night when you hear the Video Bros.
You bet. Yeah, exciting times, Papa Smokes. We're here to have a good chat about our friends in IPW New Zealand. Of course, we want to get active with all of you in the chat, just like our friend Zach Mager dropping in to say hello to the two of us. Hello, Zach. Thanks for popping by. Appreciate you, my friend. And of course, Papa Smokes, it's been awfully interesting here in Saskatchewan as of late. Some interesting weather, to say the least. Before we get to that, though, of course, the Mangler's in the house. Mangler, how are you doing? Thanks for being here on a Thursday night with us. Always appreciate you, my friend. But it's been hot. It's been cold. The weather's up. It's down. It's this. It's that. And every time I open my phone to the weather app, Papa Smokes, you know what it's giving me? It's giving me a storm warning because it knows what's up. Because on Saturday, September the 27th, Prairie Pro Wrestling is back, baby, with a little storm warning for you. And you know who's going to be there? This man right there. Basser's going to be there. Happy Thursday to you as well, Bass. Yeah. Thanks for being in the show here tonight. But yes, Papa Smokes, it feels like it's just around the corner. It's getting closer. Every Thursday night we get here, I give out the storm warning message, and we go, yes, one more week closer to that time, that moment, that exciting bit of wrestling fun that we have with the nation coming up here. I can't wait. It's going to be one hell of a night.
Absolutely. And you're here giving a storm warning, Munson. You and I were just calling a match over the last hour, and in the middle of that, it started hailing and storming here. But my God, man, just only for about 5 minutes, but it was almost a little flash flood going on. It rained and hailed very, very heavily. So know that it's out there, everybody. You might not get a warning, but you might get one. But there's a storm coming, especially at the end of June over at the Cosmos Center, just off Broadway in Saskatoon.
Yeah, tickets are officially on sale. You can reach out to Prairie Pro Wrestling on all of our social media to find out how you can get your tickets, secure your seats into the hottest show in Saskatoon this coming summer. There's concerts coming here at Papa Smokes. There's all sorts of inside great events. There's all sorts of outdoor great events. But I'll tell you what, none better than Prairie Pro Wrestling. And we deliver. You know those summer shows are a lot of fun. Can't wait to see who's going to be on the card. Can't wait to find out. Can't wait to see what we're brewing up, because you know every Thursday before a big PPW show, we've always either got a special guest or we're talking all about PPW. So we'll come up with something PPW related for that time here on Ring Respect Radio. So make sure to stay tuned to that. But outside of that, Pop Smokes, there was one other thing I wanted to mention here before we even started talking about what we came here to talk about today. And that was the announcement that MLW Fusion is returning to YouTube. The signal has been found and it returns next Saturday. So 1 week from this Saturday, MLW Fusion going to be returning back to the YouTube fold. Personally, I'm quite excited for this, Pop Smokes. I miss Fusion. And I know we're not going to get into regular every week talk about it. I mean, I guess we could briefly recap at the start of each show what happened or something like that if both of us catch it in time each week, kind of go over it for the first 10 minutes of the show each Thursday night or something like that to bring some MLW back to the fold if you'd like.
We could do that, Munson. We used to cover MLW heavily on this show, especially for that exact reason that Fusion was on YouTube and they have great content. And we kind of got back into it a little bit towards the end of last year and then back out of it again. So we've got some catching up to do. I know Cruel Kruger is not the champion anymore. There's a new champion down in MLW.
Killer
All
Cross.
kinds of changes. Absolutely. Killer Cross with Scarlett by his side. So there's probably quite a lot to talk about there. Maybe we should take a little peek in again.
Yeah, to be honest, like the last show that we covered, and then it was the Battle Riot, is the only stuff that they've had as of late, Pop Smoke. So what's coming up has been brewing up as a part of the build for Fusion, the preparation for Fusion to come back in the capacity that we used to have it at on YouTube. So I'm quite excited to see how it pans out. It's going to be taking place this Saturday. Again, like I said, if both of us happen to capture that week's episode going into our Thursday night, we'll bring it up on the show. We'll talk to the people about it. Add a little bit of MLW flavor here to Thursday nights once again.
Sounds good to me. Let's do it, Munson. Sounds good to me.
Yeah, you bet. And I know it's probably going to be covered elsewhere on the channel potentially as well too, but there was actually 4 nights WSW over in Australia holding a big event. It was released on YouTube, broadcast live on YouTube over the weekend there. Bob Smokes, did you have a chance to catch any of the action from that event?
No, I have not, but I'm interested. Did you see any yourself?
I did. I haven't catch most of night 1 so far. I still got the other 3 nights to catch up on, but I did manage to catch most of night 1, and it's good. The production's solid. The match, they got some good matches in there as well too. Some big names, of course, some names we're familiar with from the Australian scene. So well done and awesome work by everybody involved there in WSW. Again, you can check that out on YouTube as well too, as we love to promote that indie wrestling here on this channel in particular. So definitely I recommend it, Pop Smokes. I think you'll enjoy the watch.
Yeah, always do when we check out our friends down under, and maybe we can cover that at some point, or maybe you'll just watch it for laughs. I'm always interested in new indie material to watch.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in. I mean, we're talking 4 nights, 4 cards kind of thing. There's a lot of wrestling that went down there, but big ups to them for putting it on, being able to pull that off, having the talent they did on those cards, and really being able to broadcast that. There was a fair amount of people watching on the live streams as well too. So kudos to them for the hard work it would have taken to make that go off without a hitch. So well done, WSW and our friends over in Australia. But where's not too far from Australia, just kind of a hop, skip, and a jump across the pond there, Pop Smokes. And that is a country we love called New Zealand. And our friends over at Impact Pro Wrestling, IPW New Zealand, have got these cards that they had put on at the 2025 cards they had edited, and they kind of threw them all on the channel at the beginning of this year. And we've been doing our best to catch up, and we're actually fairly close to caught up. I believe 2 cards we missed. And funny enough, while watching this particular card, I realized that this one, although the way it's laid out on their YouTube channel comes after the one we just watched, it actually the Memorial Cup one apparently took place before the one that we're about to review tonight, and I still kind of want to watch that one, although commentary did mention about one of the things that happened in one of those matches from that night, but I'm still very curious to go back to that event as well too.
Absolutely. They always put out quality content, and it's a pleasure to watch their shows. So let's do it up.
Let's do it again. I don't believe we need a lay of the land this time around. We've talked very heavily about this particular area and everything. Oh, before we do though, Andre C's in the house, Papa Smokes, and big beautiful Bobby Munson. Jeez, I'm being complimented in the chat here for once. I mean, Andre, checks in the mail, brother. I promise you. Or do you take e-transfers? Appreciate you. No, but it's going over here to talk about our friends in New Zealand. This was Fans Bring the Weapons. We have seen this format before. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, the first show we ever covered for IPW New Zealand might have been the Fans Bring the Weapons ladies match that they had there a little while back, Bob. So this would be the 3rd time I think we've seen this particular matchup, but the first one we ever started covering for IPW might have been when the ladies had the Fans Bring the Weapons match. I'd have to look back on that to confirm, but that tends to ring a bell for me.
Yeah, I also remembered. I can't remember if it was the first one or not, but that's been a while now, and I'm glad that you had that connection with Australian and New Zealand wrestling from your writing on the website years ago. This has proved very fruitful for us in terms of content, but even better than that, making some friends and making some connections in the business down there too. What a good time.
You bet. So we got a friends. Your good friend Melball Collins is in the chat. Say good evening. Good evening to you, Melball. Thanks for being here. But yeah, so what I loved right off the hop with this video here, instead of just going right into the action, they had outside the arena our good friend of the channel, former guest on Ring Respect Radio, David Dunn, getting out there and talking to the people, finding out what they had brought for weapons. Man, I want to talk more heavily about it when we get to the main event itself, Papa Smokes, but this isn't bring pizza cutters. This isn't bring light tubes. This isn't that type of Fans Bring the Weapons. This is creative Fans Bring the Weapons. This is fun Fans Bring the Weapons. And I always enjoy New Zealand's version of this. And I feel that it's because of the audience that they have. The audience they have get in on the fun. They enjoy themselves, and they want to be that little piece of the show as well, too. And in doing so, they don't want to take away from it by bringing stupid things that are in the violent nature that could really cause injury. They bring creative things that are interesting, unique, fun, and we're going to talk very heavily about them. But kudos to these fans, and kudos to IPW for the video ahead of time to have David Dunn going out there and interview about everybody as they're lined up. It really gives you an idea of just that amount of people waiting to get into that building and the excitement building for a show like this.
Very much so. I thought it was genius to start the show with that segment with David Dunn outside and the fans, because you throw up fans bring the weapons match, and you're very much making the crowd and the fans a character in the show, right? Like their direct actions are coloring this show with their creativity, with the weapons that they give. Who they give them to was also an issue later on in this main event as well, because some fans were absolutely holding their weapons back from the heels, not wanting them to use them, giving them to the baby faces instead. So I find this match, you and I have talked about not loving some of the hardcore matches that go on in some of these companies, but this is one that I can get behind for exactly that reason. It's very interactive. It allows the fans to participate and have some laughs and be creative and actually influence the match and be involved in the match without being in physical danger during the match.
Yeah, and you talk about the fans becoming a character in the match. Stay tuned, everybody, because that line right there will be talked about very heavily and spoken a little bit more truly when we get to that main event. But without talking too much about that main event, let's talk about what went down on the show otherwise. And we start the night off, I would say, fairly goddamn big here, Pop Smokes. A lot of names that we know very well. A lot of, again, I talk about former guests and friends of the channel as well. We had no less than 3 in this matchup in particular. So on one side of the ring, you've got the Church and State team made up of Sir Mr. Burns, or the greatest defensive wrestler of all time, Mr. Tyler Ernst, and of course, the Divine Light, Mr. James Shaw. That's one side of the ring. The other side of the ring, you have the IPW New Zealand heavyweight champion, the Great Ape Jayrilla. You've got Jake Sheehan, and you've got Xander Taylor, which, again, I kind of was a little shocked at first because I swear that Xander Taylor has worked a little bit more on the heel side, but it was explained well in commentary that there is a little bit of a little bit of tension between him and the Great Ape as well, too. And you'll see that play out in this matchup. So they did a great job of explaining that, yes, Xander Taylor might be on their side tonight, but he hasn't always been at the side of Jayrilla. And it's not that is necessarily put to rest, but they have different foes that they need to take care of on this evening. So they have to be, on the same page. Xander Taylor is really good for a guy just getting started. Again, I don't know if IPW was his official debut or if he debuted anywhere a little bit before this, but we do know he's fairly new to the business, definitely in the New Zealand scene. He's really good for where he's at so far in his career, and you can see that growing in him each time that he steps inside that ring. I'm becoming more of a fan of him every single time, and he spends a lot of time inside of this ring, getting his shit in, but also taking a beat down, working very well. And then you've got all these other guys in there, this mix of your top guys. You got Sir Mr. Burns, who's got a guaranteed title shot coming his way. Tyler Ernst, who slowly has been getting a push up further and further, becoming a lot more dangerous adversary in the ring as well, too. Jake Sheehan, you want to put that guy in the main event anytime, you can put that guy in the goddamn main event any single time. And, of course, you still have the tension between the former champion, James Shaw, who wasn't officially pinned for the IPW New Zealand Heavyweight Championship, and, of course, the current champion, Jayrilla. You know that one's going to come to a head sooner rather than later down the road, where those two will have to go one-on-one once again, and those tensions continue to rise. This is, again, we talk about these matchups with multi-man, a lot of bodies in the ring, but here's where I didn't have a problem with this one. You have a lot of top-name guys. You know that you need something different on the card. This is a great way to have these guys come out, really bring up the excitement in the room, to make sure that energy starts high and continues high throughout the entire night. And that's what they did very well throughout this night, is building that energy right through to that main event to keep those levels top notch throughout. Every single guy did a great job. Eventually there was enough of distraction that was created. James Shaw, of course, always the opportunist, capitalizes. He gets that 3 count over Xander Taylor, picking up the win for his team. Bob Smokes, your thoughts on this opening match?
Yeah, you said it well, is that they took the veterans and put them out with one newcomer, but mostly the veterans, put them out in the first match. 6 men. This is going to get the crowd warm, and it did. And Sir Mr. Burns comes out with so much slimy, just dripping with heat all the time, with his little white diaper over trunks that he wears, and his little strut and his little everything. My God, man! As soon as that video comes up on their screen, that young Nats, you can just feel the crowd just starting to moan and groan, like, oh my God, not these guys.
Yeah.
This crowd was ready to boo these guys right off the bat. Started into a nice song of Mr. Burns sucks over and over again.
So Mr. Burns sucks.
Yeah. Thank you for the help there, Munson. Your voice isn't so melodic, but you still know the song. Yeah, that's a good one. But the crowd, as much as they hate Mr. Burns and James Shaw, they love Jayrilla and Jake Sheehan. Huge favorites. Jayrilla, obviously the New Zealand heavyweight champ. Xander in his rookie year looking real good, as you mentioned. James Shaw looking good. Speaking of looking good, he continues to impress. You know, when we've talked to him on the podcast before, he talks about working nights, and then straight from his job, he goes to work out in the gym. It's showing. He's slimmed down, but his muscles look good as well. He continues to improve in that category and all categories. The heels isolate young Xander Taylor. Quick tags, double teaming in the corner. Church and State looking like tag team specialists in this. A little bit of cheating going on always helps as well. Finally, Taylor hits the hot tag to Jayrilla, and Jayrilla does what he does best. Clears the ring of heels. And he's slamming guys. And he's splashing guys. And he's laying the big, heavy forearm down on people's backs. But just as Jayrilla is getting the ultimate momentum in this, Xander Taylor tags himself in. Without Jayrilla's knowledge or without him actually intending to tag out. So Xander Taylor, not nearly the force that Jayrilla is, gets on the receiving end of some action from the heels. James Shaw hits the Divine Valley driver on him. Pin 1, 2, 3, and James Shaw comes out of this looking like the big hero for the heel team, and he's right in Jayrilla's face saying, I'm coming for that title. I'm going to pin you for it, and I'm taking my title back that I never got pinned for. So here, we've got a setup for the main event of future shows coming up. James Shaw, as well as Sir Mr. Burns, who's got a title shot locked up. So does James Shaw. And now we've got some drama. Which heel is going to step up, challenge Jayrilla first? And the question remains, from either one of them, who's going to pin the Great Ape? Nobody has yet, and it's a tall task. So we've got drama already, the gears in motion towards the next couple of shows and the next couple of main events.
Yeah, you bet. And somebody else who's entitled to a shot is whoever holds that Warner Cup, and we're going to talk about the Warner Cup a little bit here.
Yes,
first, we're going to say hey to Astrid joining us here on a Thursday. Hello, Astrid. Happy Thursday to you. Going right into the next match on this card, Papa Smokes. On paper, I swear this is the toughest challenge for Pariah to date, at least from what we've seen of Pariah's matches, taking on the big man Liger. This one, I was like, okay, this should prove interesting. There's going to be a set time that these two guys are going to work in particular, but I'm like, they've fed a lot of, I don't want to say small guys. There doesn't even seem to be small guys in New Zealand. I don't even think that is a thing. I think it goes from medium to large to extra large in New Zealand. I'm pretty sure of it. So a lot of they've been feeding a lot of the medium guys to Pariah so far, but then they've got a boy. I'd say he's teetering on extra large there in the form of Pariah. I mean, that's a big meaty man right there. So this was quite the collision between two big guys. And shit, man, Liger took the fight to Pariah in this thing. Like, he beat this man down. This was the first time I think we've even seen Pariah look like he was, fighting from underneath to a certain degree. Like, the heel's never usually really doing that. But in this particular time, it was one of those times where the babyface had to get in there early. He had to go at him hard because this guy's been unstoppable up to this point. So Liger really throwing it in. Liger, a former heavyweight champion himself. Like, he knows how to get stuff done. And he puts on a hell of a showing, but it's that one moment, that one tiny little opportunity that Pariah catches, and he hits that damn choke slam. 1, 2, 3, and once again, Pariah picking up a big victory, one of the biggest ones to date so far in his run with IPW.
Very much so, and it's obvious that they're pushing Pariah fairly strongly. He's had a number of squash matches. I think this one would count as a squash match at all, roughly 4 minutes long, against a former New Zealand champion, too. So Liger, absolutely no pushover. When the wrestler's nickname is the Smash Mouth Samoan, you're probably in for a fight. And Pariah got a nice fight for a few minutes here, but ultimately Liger unable to capitalize on his early success in this match. Pariah's got the whole Hannibal Lecter kind of gimmick going. He's in handcuffs from, what's his doctor's name there? Dr. Adams brings him out in the handcuffs, and once Dr. Adams takes those handcuffs off and he whispers something to Pariah, it's just a wild attack from the insane man there. So they're building something here with Pariah. We'll see what happens in the future, but for now, building up the wins, building up the heat with this relatively new heel that they've got on the scene here, and Pariah kind of around the middle of the card at this point. But the way this push is going, we'll see if they push him a little further up the card. Second match in tonight for a 4-minute match. That makes a lot of sense to me, but I also get the feeling that they've got something big planned for Pariah and Dr. Adams.
You can only imagine Pariah looking across the ring from the Great Ape at one point in time, Papa Spokes. There's all sorts of people who want to take a shot at Jayrilla, so it's very possible, but I think we are a ways away from that. But from there, we go on to our next match, and we want to talk about new people in the company, new people in the wrestling business. Both these individuals making their debuts in IPW earlier in 2025, of course, with these shows taking place in 2025 that we're currently reviewing. On one half of the ring, you've got Raven, the ever popular with the fans newcomer, and then on the other side of the ring, part of it's the Sigma Collective, right? The Sigma Collective?
Yeah.
Okay. Part of the Sigma Collective, or at least the, what we call them, the outcast of the Sigma Collective, Papa Spokes, the one that they reluctantly let to tag along, like the kid brother that they don't want hanging out with their friends. Joseph Kruz in singles action here tonight. There was comment made that Raven so far, very popular, but they still haven't picked up a victory in IPW as of yet. To that matter, I don't think Joseph Kruz has. So either way, one of these two walking away with their first IPW victory. This was all. I mean, I like these two. I like the fact that these two have had something going. Like, Raven got over quickly with the fans. Raven's very flamboyant, very colorful, very high flying, very quick maneuvering. But Joseph Kruz was given something with the Sigma Collective, and when they punish him for not winning a match and he has to do squats outside the ring and all these things where they're bullying him around because, they're the bigger guys that allow him to tag along kind of thing. I think it's given a lot of opportunity to Joseph Kruz to show a lot of personality as well, too. So I loved seeing that. Of course, Raven getting the first victory in IPW here in this one. And of course, once again, the Sigma Collective in particular now going as, let me get this right, Perfect Peter Prince. No longer Peter Parr, it's Peter Prince on the outside, barking orders at Joseph Kruz, making him do squats outside the ring after getting a beat down from Raven. Thoughts on this one, Papa Smokes?
Yeah, this was a good match to have third in the card here. It was a 6-minute approximately, and we've seen Raven before. Very, very popular with the fans. Interesting presentation, good presentation. And then Joseph Kruz, we've seen, is kind of a clownish heel type character. A little bit on the comedy side at this point as he tries to earn his spot in the Sigma Collective, and with the help of Perfect Peter Prince, you can think maybe the kid might get something done, possibly through nefarious means. But Raven looking good in this match. Got some size, got this height and strength advantage over Joseph Cruz, who isn't a big guy, but also agile and can do some aerial stuff. But at any rate, Raven has some nice chest chops going on. Cruz applies a sleeper, but Raven escapes and goes on the offensive. The sleeper again, and it looked like Joseph Cruz might get somewhere with that rear applied sleeper hold, but Prince insists that Cruz release that hold and hit a power bomb. He's telling him that a power bomb is going to finish this. And you're just kind of thinking, I don't know if Cruz can even get Raven up for a power bomb. There's a weight difference there, but at any rate, bad advice and a bad attempt because Raven reverses it, hits the move known as the TKO, gets a pinfall, and the crowd reacts to this very, very strongly. They love Raven. They love to give that support. And then we see after the match the Perfect Peter Prince very disappointed again with Joseph Cruz. And you got to wonder, how long will Cruz's struggles keep going, and how long will the Sigma Collective put up with his struggles?
Well, we're yet to see. Well, at least they're going to put up with him for now, and he's going to stay out there because our next match involves another member of the Sigma Collective going for the Warner Cup. It is Jack Maximum, the other member of the Sigma Collective, taking on the current Warner Cup holder, Horus. And we got to say Horus, not Horus, even though, we've been trained to say Horus for so many years, Pop Smokes. It's Horus when we go to New Zealand.
I don't know, man. Selena taught me that it's Horus, and I'm not going back on that.
That's fair. I mean, you don't want to cross Selena, but in this case, our friends at IPW go by Horus in this particular one. So out of respect for the wrestler and the company, we'll go by their wording of the name for now.
All right.
But for those who don't know, the Warner Cup. Okay, so the Warner Cup is a cup. It is officially a cup in IPW. It's contested every single year. Somebody wins it, they hold it, and then they have to defend it throughout the year until we get to, I'm trying to remember which night it is. The Warner Cup is done at, damn it, it's slipping my mind, Papa Smoke. One of the bigger events that they have, and I know that my friends in IPW watching on replay are probably going to be, slapping their hand against their face going, Munson, come on, you could have done your research better. But anyway, nonetheless, the Warner Cup does eventually get to be essentially cashed in for an official one-on-one matchup with the champion. So right now, that is in the side of Horus. He is defending it here tonight. Can Jack Maximum pick this thing up and maybe put himself into contention for the championship opportunity? Maximum looks fantastic, by the way. And like, this guy is built very, very well. This is where we started to learn that these two, it isn't even the first time they locked up. They were actually in the Peter Lane Memorial Cup, which we need to talk about, which I guess took place before this one. We didn't see that in the order on YouTube, so we will go back. Damn it, look at this. Okay, I'm pausing what we're talking about for a second. Look who's in the house, Pop Smoke. David. Redeemed at the Eliminator. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Okay, it was slipping my mind. I knew it was one of the big events. The Eliminator makes the most sense. So that is going to be defended there. Can't wait to see who is going to be holding it at that time. I'd be damned to see who's going to take it off of Horus, but damn, if Jack Maximum didn't give it his all in this fight. This one was so back and forth. They had me believing at times, like, could they pull it off? Could Jack Maximum be that guy they want to roll with? And even this guy's newerish to the company, but he is a standout for sure. And that he's going places in this business.
Very much so. And as soon as Jack Maximum enters the ringside area, you just get the sense of that awesome presentation that he has. He is big, and that name suits him very, very well because he is a thick boy. And this was not a long match, also an approximately 7-minute match. Didn't need to be any longer than that because Horus, also a big guy, also a strong guy. So we had a beefy slap fest going on in this match. We saw a lot of power displayed. Horus entering with the length of chain. You know that might come into play during this match. I wouldn't doubt anything from these two big guys. But just as Jack Maximum uses power moves, uses heavy strikes in this, he uses that world's strongest slam, from picking the guy up from the chest and then going down hard. That was a good spot in this match because that was one of the closest 2 counts I've seen in a long time.
Oh, yeah.
I bet you the referee was grumpy about that one because Horus waited until the last millisecond to kick out of that. Boy, was that close. But Horus goes on the offensive, ends up with that half shrimp hold or half Boston crab, gets the submission of all things.
Yeah.
From a stud like Jack Maximum. Wow, what a match! What power on display, and what a excellent platform to show off the Warner Cup, show its importance, and show that it's a trophy that the big boys are after. The big boys are willing to lay out the beef in every moment of this match. It shows how important it is to get the wins, to hold on to that Warner Cup until you can get your heavyweight title shot.
Yeah, you bet. Yeah, but it's going to be a hell of a time trying to take it off of Horus. Hello to Blair, Great Mayor Wrestling Podcast, and also the voice of WPW over in Winnipeg.
Hey,
what's
Blair.
up? 2 of favorites from Saskatchewan. And go check out Blair's podcast, man. It is fantastic. He had Riley Kruz on there recently. I checked it out. Awesome interview. I also had Kingsley on there just recently as well, too, Pop Smoke. So a lot of great guests that Blair is getting on the show. So go and show some love and support to the Grain Maker Wrestling Podcast over on YouTube. So yes, moving on from there on this particular card, Pop Smokes. Up next, we've got Kahn Capital coming out. Anthony Kahn and Ringo Ryan going to be participating on behalf of Kahn Capital in this tag team matchup. Ringo Ryan apparently now the Aetiora. I think I say that right now. I hope I said that right. David, correct me if I'm wrong. Probably a little Canadian mispronunciation in there, but anyway, it's as close as I'm getting so far. Anyway, he's now their champion over there as well, too. I really wish we could get some of that so we could find out a little bit more about what's going on with those titles, because I've got a slight bit more interest in learning more New Zealand companies. But interestingly enough, taking on the team of King and Crosscheck, Michael Richards and Nico Bell, who we've seen very heavily, especially as a tag team, or at this time where they were still the SPW tag team champions as well, too, coming over. Also, again, weird because this time out, we're seeing Richards as a babyface, where we see him as a heel with Nico Bell over on the other side of the fence in SPW. So very interesting to see. But both guys are awesome at switching it on and off, right? Like they do that great heel work in SPW, but they come out to this audience and they're loved. They adore it. They get into it. They switch their style up just slightly. They're a solid ass tag team, man. Like they've really come together quite nicely as a tag team together. Of course, Kahn Capital have been working together for quite some time. They do a great job of cutting the ring off and making it really hard to get that hot tag. Nico Bell does a great job selling from underneath throughout, gets that hot tag to Richards. But in the end, Kahn Capital just a little too much for the team of King and Crosscheck and picking up a very big victory in this one. So your thoughts on the tag match, Pop Spokes?
Yeah, this was quite a good one. It was always fun to see our friends from SPW, the King and Crosscheck. We've talked about tag teams before. There are certain types of tag teams, and I like Richards and Bell as King and Crosscheck because there are tag teams in wrestling that match. They're similar in their look, they're similar in their trunks and all that. And then there are teams that don't match, and it's usually one guy is good in one area and one guy is good in the other area. That's kind of like Richards and Bell and King and Crosscheck. They don't match. And yet one's strengths picks up for the other one's weaknesses and all that kind of stuff. On Capital, more of a matching pair kind of, but I like King and Crosscheck. They're a lot of fun. They're quite believable as heels or in this case as baby faces. And they come into a crowd in Auckland here who's quite receptive to seeing some tough-looking guys as their baby faces. Of course, Nico Bell's got the missing tooth. He looks like a hockey player. He comes in with the hockey stick in the jersey. And then Michael Richards looks like $1 million too. He's got the physique and all that to go along with it. So Cool match, awesome match, but Kahn Capital building something. They've got a little faction going in IPW, and with Trey Daniels interfering from the outside, there always the fear of that third man being involved somehow, and he did involve himself in this match. Bell took a lot of the bumps, was isolated in this match, double teamed, got the hot tag to Richards, who hit a beautiful stalling suplex, a full vertical suplex, holding the guy up there perfectly straight for a number of seconds. And then that slam down to the mat. Very, very good. Crowd loving that as well. But Kahn takes over with the eye rake, and then Ringo Ryan with the front pile driver to get the pinfall in this match. So Kahn Capital building their case as contenders for the tag team championship here. And Richards and Bell, the visitors in this case, do the job. No problem. They still look like a promising tag team for IPW. And here you've got it. Kahn Capital get the rub here and get the little build. Will they be involved in the tag team picture coming up? You got to think so.
I don't imagine it's only a matter of time. Up next on this card, this is going to be interesting because I told you, Pop Smokes, I wanted to talk about something a little off topic when it comes to this matchup. But first, we'll mention it. Jackson Graves taking on Perfect Peter Prince in the next matchup. So the part I want to talk about that's a little off topic but not off topic is Jackson Graves comes out to a theme song. His song is done by a band called Nothing More. The song is Do You Really Want It? So this song comes on, of course, immediately I pop. I love this band, listen to them quite heavily. There's a couple of their albums that I think are damn near perfection. In fact, this particular song comes off an album that I believe front to back is absolute pure perfection in terms of its the writing ability and the lyrics, the musicality, everything like that throughout this thing. These guys do things with timestamps and everything in their music that are very unique that most people at a glance don't necessarily hear, but they're a very, very interesting, unique band that hasn't really blown up and been known worldwide yet, but the audience that they have are very committed to this group because we see just how good they are. Now, this is where it gets interesting. I've done a couple of reviews of their albums and reactions to some of their songs here on the channel. Johnny Hawkins, the singer in particular, when I did the review for the album Spirits, actually messaged on that video on our channel from his YouTube channel, thanking me for that review and saying that he really enjoyed my review of it. I checked the authenticity and it was actually Johnny's channel as well too, so there's no BS there. And to collaborate that even more, when I did the next review for them, Nothing More themselves actually followed OLE, subscribed to OLE here on YouTube. So again, if Nothing More, a band that goes around touring the world, can subscribe to OLE here on YouTube, then all of you who are watching who haven't done so already, what is your hold up here? I mean, we're talking about a band that has no reason that they need to follow us, but they took the time. So come on over to the good sign, join the great people like Nothing More who have subscribed to us here on the channel. It's a banger of a tune. But I really wanted to mention that first. The matchup itself, really good. I like both these guys. Jackson Graves, he's very charismatic. He's very quick inside the ring. We've said lots of great things about Perfect Peter Parr. I mean, he's arrogant, he's slimy, he's got this Sigma collective that he's building up where he's become the leader of it. I remember the first time we mentioned this guy and we said, this is a guy I could see being one of the bigger players in this company in a couple of years. And now we're starting to see that unfold. And I believe more than ever, Perfect Peter Prince is getting that push up the ladder. He will be an upper mid card to a top guy within IPW here very shortly.
I think you're probably right about that, Munson. And but yeah, we've spoken highly of Peter Prince or Peter Parr at that time. Now he's Perfect Peter Prince. He's gifted. He's got some height. He's got some size and some strength, and he's got a smarmy, slimy attitude that gets under the skin of the fans. So effective as a heel for sure. And then with the Sigma Collective, he's building something here as well. Jackson Graves looks good to me too. Very pure baby face. Comes out looking like he could do anything. You know, he's got the belief in himself that through his skills he can do anything in that ring. But Prince controls this match. Slow, methodical heel work. He's nothing fancy. He's choking on the ropes. He's stomping when Graves is down. He's using possibly the closed fist punches for a lot of this. Love it. That's simple, excellent heel work all the way through. This was a 9 to 10 minute match approximately. I thought Jackson Graves had some good matches and shows a lot of promise. He had a nice belly to back suplex with the bridging into the pinning combination. That got a very close two
Oh, that
count as
was
well.
nice too.
Oh, like that spot a lot. It looked like a tiger mask in 1984 in Japan or something like that. Very well done. But Prince finishing this match with a beautiful, simple, full vertical suplex and then a missile basement drop kick that just about took Graves' head off, or it looked like it did anyway. Gets the pinfall in under 10 minutes. So again, Sigma Collective showing some power in this. Perhaps perhaps the kid on the outside was watching and learned something from this as well. But perfect Peter Prince going over in this match and looking good. And I agree with you, Munson. There's really little to no doubt that he's headed his way up the card from the third or fourth match. He'll soon be probably in the semi-main event, and then I could easily see him challenging a babyface champion for the New Zealand Championship at some point in the future. I would say not even too far, 6 months to a year in the future. I bet he's up there.
Yeah, you bet. And considering that this was all done in 2025, we're not far off of maybe seeing that in real time. Like if you check them out on their own social media and want to find out what's going on currently, some of what we're saying here and predicting, you might go, hey, you know already, but we don't try to find these things out. We're trying to focus on what's available today and be surprised by what we see as well too. Although I got to say, in the next match, I did have an idea of where this one was going. So we find out the announcement is that the New Zealand Women's Champion, Megan Kate, in fact, record-breaking 5-time New Zealand Women's Champion, Megan Kate, has suffered an injury and has to vacate her championship. So they're going to crown a new champion here tonight. I did know the winner of this already was the champion. Did not know it happened in this fashion, which makes it a hell of a lot more interesting because it means we never got this matchup, which we kind of suspected was on the horizon with not too far out. Let's talk about that in a second, though. It's Candy Lee, former, and again, they mentioned how long Candy Lee has been champion before in New Zealand. In fact, was it the longest or tied for the longest total combined days as women New Zealand champion, and also looking to start catching up to the record of one Megan Kate here with the amount of title wins as well too. But standing in her way is this unstoppable force known as Mighty Maya, who has been on a tear since arriving in IPW. A tear so crazy. I mean, I even pitched the idea of Mighty Maya versus Jayrilla, and even Jay seemed kind of down for that fight, knowing that he'd be in it for a hell of a fight there. So yes, this one, very interesting match between these two ladies. Unfortunately, I already knew that Mighty Maya was the champion. So I had seen that part. I just didn't know that we didn't get Mighty Maya and Megan Kate. So the intriguing part now becomes Mighty Maya is your new champion. Megan Kate, the record champion, has never been beat. When she comes back from that injury, Papa Smokes, there's all that time and that tension that's been built up. And that is going to be one hell of a booked matchup. I mean, you don't want to see anyone ever go out due to injury, but the ramifications are you get one sizzling top quality title fight when your former champion returns.
Yeah, and it's a bit sad that Megan Kate is injured. We wish her all the best and a speedy recovery. But the IPW had done some work promoting the upcoming match or the upcoming confrontation between Megan Kate and Mighty Maya. You could see that one on the horizon. That was for sure the plan. But this ain't ballet. This is professional wrestling, and people get hurt. People get hurt in ballet too. Not trying to slag.
Yeah.
Very, very difficult art. But at any rate, so Mighty Maya now needs an opponent, needs a worthy opponent for this championship match. And who better than the former 3-time champion, Candy Lee? And we've seen her before. She's impressive as well. I like her presentation. She looks good. She's got a size advantage against Maya, but Maya's very also tall and a big, strong girl as well. And do you find it funny? Maybe Blair's still listening here too, but Mighty Maya reminds me of a Canadian wrestler named the Matriarch. They have a similar body type, a similar style, both very strong ladies. And Mighty Maya's nickname in New Zealand is the Matriarch, and they use
Mm-hmm.
that name as well. So very interesting parallels there. But the crowd was a tiny bit quiet at the beginning of this one, but they gained some momentum. They really, really like Mighty Maya. And this wasn't a heel versus babyface match so much. Candy Lee is typically a babyface. Also, they got some heat in the way of friendly, spirited, fiery competition between the two of them for sure. So that's where the heat in this match was. And I think that's refreshing every so often to have a match that's contested for the sheer reason of not that one is represents good and one represents evil, but spirit of competition. That's what this was. So Candy had some nice spots in this part. She's got a devastating hip attack in the corner, but ultimately Maya hits a spear and into a rear naked choke. Nice combination.
Mm-hmm.
Taking out the midsection with that high impact spear, where you would think that that's pushing all the air out of Candy Lee's body and then applying that rear naked choke, or is it a sleeper? We're not really sure which, but the combination is very logical, works perfectly. All the air driven out of Candy Lee's body. She has no alternative but to tap out in this match. So there you have it. First time champion, Mighty Maya, to a huge ovation from an adoring audience here. They love Mighty Maya. They think she's the best ladies babyface in the company. So there you got it. First time New Zealand heavyweight women's champion, and a great moment. She parades the belt through the crowd. That's got to be the best feeling for a young wrestler, maybe winning your first and most prestigious championship. She wants to share it with the fans. Hell yeah, they helped her. They propelled her with their cheers to her first New Zealand Women's Championship. She's going to celebrate out in the crowd with them. After a little nice sportsmanlike moment with Candy Lee, she celebrates with the fans. Good feeling all the way through this, and congratulations to Mighty Maya, first time ladies champion.
You bet. Yeah, huge congratulations, Mighty Maya. And of course, from there, Pop Smokes, we got one more to talk about. That one's known as our main event of the evening. This match is scheduled for one fall.
One fall.
And it is the Fans Bring the Weapons match for the Altiara Tag Team Championship. The former champions, New Blood. Man, you know how confusing this gets for me? New Blood, new money. I'm listening to new metal while I'm making these notes. You know, I'm all full of the new here while I'm doing these things. But anyways, New Blood over at IPW and Zach Hale. New Zealand. Oh my God, Pop Smokes, you're making this worse on me, man. But yes, they take on Zach Hale and Kid Nova taking on the team of S.A.S, Alex Savage, and the man with the most punchable face in professional wrestling, Will Stone, in this one. And of course, we got that video package showing us the build-up, showing us why this one led to the Fans Bring the Weapons, showing about how S.A.S took out the arm of Kid Nova at one point, which put him on the shelf temporarily, and that's why we're here at this point in time. So, of course, this is a Fans Bring the Weapons match. I'll let you get into the meat and potatoes of it, Pop Smokes. I'm going to throw out there some of the stuff that we've seen used throughout this entire matchup quickly. Starting with, we had a dustbin, we had picture frames, we had skateboards, we had barbed wire chair. I think that there was a happy face made from thumbtacks, a ukulele. We had kids. All the kids in the audience were invited to kick the living piss out of Will Stone at one time in what was one of my favorite moments of the entire match.
And they
toilet paper rolls that were thrown at dudes in this one. What have we got here? The wooden staff weighed with the aluminum cans. The fan that put together a whole bunch of aluminum cans onto a stick. One of the best things I've ever seen in one of these weapons matchups. We had then there the paddle or the bow oar where they got in there, and I got to prop David Dunn for the Simpsons reference on commentary. That's a paddling. We had a swimming flipper that was used in there, a battering ram. Someone put together a battering ram in this one that they used in the matchup. A table, a chair, a vacuum cleaner, a frying pan, golf club, kendo sticks, and last but definitely not least, and that's why it's in the name of this stream as well as on the poster, a block of cheese pop smokes. So that looked like an expensive ass block of cheese in this economy as well too. That looked like something I wouldn't want to put to waste. Man, kudos on that fan for putting forth that kind of money and that dedication into this one.
No, that was so funny because all this was a callback to David Dunn's little tour through the fans lined up at the beginning, and you knew that you would probably see some of these fans and some of these weapons again. I love the one where David Dunn says, 2 rolls of toilet paper, what's this for? And the young lady says, in case something happens, like an accident. So I don't know exactly what she meant by that. Then the little guy with the block of cheese, and then David Dunn says, a block of cheese in this economy? So funny, and just a call back to the beginning of this podcast too. I love this style of gimmick match because it involves the fans, and the fans can use their creativity and use their enthusiasm and their hard work to be a part of this match. And to me, this is a way that a promotion can kind of give back to the fans a little bit and say, we value you. We want to know who you are. We want to know what you'll do, the lengths you'll go to be involved in this match. You don't have to get in the face of the heels. You don't have to be involved in the action, but you can hand something to them, and there's a good chance that it'll be used in some fashion in the match. Just think that's charming. Just also reminds me of Munson in some of our early days calling matches for High Impact Wrestling. We had the Devil's Night match here in Saskatoon, also a tag team match at Halloween. Fans bring their weapons, and that was a good time. And one of the best and most fun matches I've seen in Saskatoon before. Also with some very, very wacky items being brought to that match and used with much amusement by the wrestlers here. So we got to see that in this match. The lead-up package was very helpful in this to set up what was going on in this feud. And you see that S.A.S. are dirty, slimy, nasty heels. Now, I like to see when heels aren't just heels because they supposedly stand on the side of badness or the side of evil, but S.A.S. cheat relentlessly. They cheat relentlessly. We saw in this package that they cheated all the way through their title shot against New Blood and cheated at the finish to get the win. Low blows, distractions, foreign objects, everything. Then New Blood gets their return title match against S.A.S. and S.A.S. cheat relentlessly again through this match. And they retain the titles in that match as well. So now what can you do? New money, or let's see, here we go again. Not new money, New Blood managed to wrangle themselves a fans bring the weapons match, which is of course no disqualification. Now, does that favor the baby faces or does it favor the heels? The heels are good enough at cheating at this point that they seldom get caught by the referee. But are you now opening the gate for them to cheat even more? Is it even cheating in a no disqualification match? Not really, I suppose. But we saw everything in this match under the sun. cheating by both teams, foreign objects, the items from brought by the fans, really a big favorite of mine. Aside from the block of cheese, striking in its appearance as well. I mean, a good big long bat, and then all those different colored beer and pop cans sticking out. It probably looked more deadly and dangerous than it was. But my God, that Zach Nova just clocked Alex over the head with that thing very, very hard. I realize they're aluminum cans, but take an aluminum can on its ends, it's still got a hardness to it. Wow, that got used to some satisfaction for New Blood as well. One of the items that we saw at the beginning of the card was somebody brought a blank black canvas. And David Dunn said, wouldn't it be a masterpiece if somebody's head got smashed right through it? Oh, yeah, that was used early. And Alex Savage's head smashed right through that, and it's around his neck. And he was groggy for a while in the middle of the ring. And S.A.S. had kind of been acting like New Blood were a thorn in their side, and they were acting like they wanted revenge. But once this match got going, you could see this was New Blood's revenge match for all the times they've been cheated, and all the times they've been kicked in the groin and hit with foreign objects. This was their chance to get one up on S.A.S. They brawled in the crowd for a long time, and the crowd, there were those moments that get out of the way, and you know that a big spot's going to happen. It's so exciting, Munson. You've been in crowds at indie shows before when that's happened, and you just, again, you're a member of the crowd, but you're involved in this match. They're giving you instruction. They're telling you to get the hell out of the way because violence is about to happen. And guys got thrown through rows of seats. Now the deadly ukulele comes out. That's thrown and smashed over somebody's head. You already mentioned the spot. New Blood invite every kid come kick their asses. And all those little guys from age 8 to 12 came in there, and they looked like an old NWO beatdown. Every kid's just throwing the stomps in there and just stomping a mud hole dry on the heels there too. The block of cheese gets used for a 2 count. That battering ram was insane. I was thinking, what the hell is this? It looked like a bazooka of some kind. I think it was an actual real police battering ram that they used to smash doors down. It had the spikes on the end. It was a 2-man battering ram. New Blood get one of the heels in the corner and start laying it to him with this battering ram. My God, it was awesome.
Yeah.
And New Blood went on offense for a long time, double teaming at the end of this match. They give one of the heels a 3D through a table, so a little taste of the Dudley boys there. S.A.S. bring the vacuum cleaner in. Now that's getting used. That had the crowd chuckling. Who brought their old broken vacuum cleaner? That's the beauty of the stuff. You never know what's going to show up. Now it's S.A.S. 2-on-1 for a long time in the ring. They're getting the Lego out. Oh my God, imagine you've stepped on it in the middle of the night at some point when your nephew or some child was playing around. That's a painful experience. But imagine getting body slammed onto Lego. Just makes me cringe just thinking about it. Now the thumbtacks are coming out. Oh God, I just cringe at those bumps as well. There were some big ones onto those. I loved when Will Stone came out to the front row and those same kids that were kicking him before, just flipping him the double whammy, the double bird, as you might want to call it. Stone's giving it right back in their faces. You just can see the excitement on these young fans' faces. They're just giving it everything they got. Fantastic. The double whammy, well represented in New Zealand. Nova gets his hand stomped on a barbed wire chair. He leaves the ring area. That's how his team looked like they were down and out. But then Nova comes back in a sling. He's going to play the hero. But he doesn't get to play the hero. because a low blow by S.A.S. Then their finisher, which is called the the devil double team finisher onto the tax and hits the pinfall. S.A.S. retain the championships at what cost. Both teams are completely physically devastated from this, but the crowd was hot for this. And we know about hot finishes lately around PPW. Boy, they didn't like the last main event finish we did, and they did not like this one either. But like it or not, the heels retain, and S.A.S. are still tag team champions in New Zealand. And boy, the crowd was frustrated. They did not like this. So that just begs the question. They are going to want to see a rematch of these two teams. But where do you take it from here, Munson? My God, you can't just go back to a one fall 20-minute time limit match. Where is it going to go and what's going to happen?
You got to go with the cage, Papa Smokes. You got to go with the cage, man. That's where they take it next for these two. That's at least where I think it's got to go anyway. But nonetheless, the match of the night. Yeah, I mean, let's not kid ourselves. We don't often give it to the hardcore matchups. This one by far, they knew what they were doing. They knew how to build it. Excellent. Love the interaction from the fans. Definitely hands down match of the night on what was a card that was fantastic from top to bottom. I really enjoyed myself watching this one. Great work from IPW, and I'm very much looking forward to talking more IPW here on the channel along with other companies as well too. But we are just a little over the hour, and we're going to let everybody get to their Fridays here very soon. I'm sure a lot of people want to party it up on a Thursday, kind of pre-drink before the weekend. So we'll let you get to that. In the meantime, in between time, that expensive, beautiful ticker's on the screen. Papa Spoke's going to let you know where you can find him, what he's got coming up.
All right, sounds good. Anybody can find me on Thursday nights on the very podcast you're watching right now, Ring Respect Radio. I'm always here on Ole Podcasts, OLE Podcasts, and Video Bros Network. Other than that, you can find me on Elon Musk's Free Speech Wonderland, known as X. I am at smokes_papa, and also, allegedly at least, on Twitch at papa_smokes_.
There you go. That's where you can find Papa Smokes. And yes, good night to you as well, too, Asher. Thanks for being here with us tonight. You can find myself at the ticker down below. You can also catch me right here on the channel this coming Sunday, along with Andre C. for a little show called Point of View. We're going to be talking about the week in sports, a little bit more of that NHL playoff time, a little bit more of that soccer stuff, anything in the world of sports. Come join us 11 a.m. Eastern time on a Sunday morning. You can also catch myself and Papa Smokes over at Pariah Pro Wrestling's YouTube channel, where we have a new match each and every Saturday afternoon for you, including the one coming up this Saturday, which I believe is our Sheik Akbar Shabazz versus Phil Deadly matchup. And then the following Saturday from there, we just called it, Papa Smokes. The Mexican Devil El Asesino makes his return after the Ring of Horrors back to in-ring action against the ever-likable PPW Nation favorite, Soup Nasty. So stay tuned to PPW on YouTube to check those matches out. And guess what? We got a lot of cool stuff going on here on the channel. A lot of different contributors doing great things. I actually have this Saturday an additional thing that I'm doing with Peggy and Ed. We're going to be reviewing the movie The Mandalorian and Grogu. So stay tuned this Saturday to check that out. An official time, I don't know yet, but we will get to you all. You'll find out about that. All you got to do is turn on the notification bell. It's right here on OLE Podcast. You can go to find us on YouTube. You can find us on Twitch. Turn on notification bells. Find out when we got the new things going on. And guess what else you can do? You can be part of supporting this channel by either subscribing on YouTube. You can go over, follow on Twitch. But if you want to add money, you can use a Prime Twitch sub. You can sub on Twitch. That helps us out as well, too. Over on the YouTube side, you can do a few different things for us. Aside from subbing and watching the shows, you can leave a comment in the comment section below. And you can also do hype points. We talk about it each and every week, Bob Spokes. If you're watching on a mobile phone and it's at least 24 hours, or say you're watching live right now and you got 24 hours from now, you know what? I really like that show that the Videos Bros put on a Thursday night, and I want to get them up the hype charts. All you got to do, go to the video, scroll a little to the side. There's a thing called hype points. You get 3 of those per week that you can give to your favorite shows and contributors. And we are right here. We love to get that love on OLE podcast. So send that love, mine, and Papa Smokes way. We're 2-time top 100 hype point champions here in Canada. We've been on that hype chart twice. We want to taste it again. We want to go even higher. With your help, we can do just that. So share that love, do all the things, and join us again next week for more Ring Respect Radio. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see you in a week's time.